2016 for the city of Pacifica. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Behringer.
Here.
Commissioner Evans.
Present.
Vice Chair Niblin.
Here.
Chair Gordon.
Here.
Commissioner Clifford.
Present.
Commissioners Cooper and Campbell are absent.
Thank you very much. And Commissioner Neblin, would you like to lead us in a salute to the flag?
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for that. And I see that we've got an agenda. Commissioner Clifford.
I move that we approve the agenda.
And Commissioner Evans.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Please vote. And that motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Okay. We've got the minutes of July 18th, 2016 to approve. And are we good on that in terms of a lineup?
Yes, Chair. Even with Vice Chair Niblin's abstention, we still have 4 commissioners that were present.
Excellent. Okay. Commissioner Clifford.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Commissioner Evans.
And I again second that motion.
Okay, please vote. And that passes 4-0. Moving on to, do we have a need for a liaison to the City Council meeting?
No, Chair.
Okay. And now we're going to go on to oral communications. This portion of the agenda is available to the public to address the Planning Commission on any issue that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission that is not on the agenda. The time allowed for any speaker will be 3 minutes. And I do not see any cards or anybody wishing to address us, so I will move on to public hearings. We've got 2 matters on the agenda. The first is a site development permit, PSD 808-16, coastal development permit, CDP 365-16, and variance PV 516-16, filed by applicant and co-owner Christian Bogberg for the addition of a 3rd garage space and bedroom above to legalize the existing 2nd unit at a half bathroom and laundry room, and the expansion of the master bedroom of an existing 2-story residence located at 252 Stanley Avenue in Pacifica. Project site is located within the coastal zone, and the application was filed on February 22nd, 2016. Recommended CEQA status is exempt. And could we have a staff report, please?
Good evening, Honorable Chair and Commissioners. I'm Associate Planner Christian Murdoch. This item is a continued public hearing. Upon staff's request at the Planning Commission meeting of July 18th, the Planning Commission continued this item until tonight's meeting in order to allow staff additional time to analyze certain aspects of the project. Because of the continuance, staff was able to complete its analysis and prepare the project for consideration at this meeting. However, after publishing the agenda packet, staff identified additional items warranting analysis before presenting the project for consideration by the Planning Commission. The items identified will require in-depth review, which is the basis for staff's requested continuance to the Planning Commission's regular meeting at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 6th, 2016. Staff has communicated with the applicant, and the applicant does not object to the continuance. Therefore, staff respectfully requests the Planning Commission grant the continuance to September 6th, 2016, after receiving any public comments.
Thank you very much. And since this was a notice public hearing, we're still going to open it up for public hearing. If there's anybody who wishes to speak on the matter, you can fill out a card. I am not seeing anybody who wishes to speak, so I'm going to close that public hearing and bring it back to the Commission. Commissioner Clifford.
I move that we continue this item to, it was September 6th? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay, till September 6th.
Vice Chair Niblin.
I'll second that motion.
Great. Please vote. And that passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to the next public hearing agenda item. We've got a coastal development permit, CDP 366-16, filed by Scott Ciramelli, agent for property owners Chad and Chelsea Pope, to construct a 78 square foot addition at the first floor and a 728 square foot addition at the second floor, and a 780 5 square foot addition to a deck at the second floor to an existing 1,280 square foot 2-story single-family residence at 136 Stanley Avenue in Pacifica. The project site is located within the coastal zone, and the application was filed on April 13, 2016. The recommended CEQA status is exempt, and the recommended action is to approve as conditioned. Could we have a staff report, please?
Assistant Planner Rob Smith will present the staff report.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honourable Chair and Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Robert Smith, and I'll be presenting the CDP application at 135 Stanley Avenue. The property is within the coastal zone and the appeal zone. The existing building is a non-conforming structure on the basis of the side and rear yard setbacks being 4 foot 7 inches and 16 feet 7 inches respectively. The proposed scheme is not proposing to increase the degree of non-conformities, therefore coastal development permit is the only permit that's required. The bulk of development will be at the second floor level with a 728 square foot addition, and that will provide additional living space for the single family home. This will be linked to an external deck that's also at second floor level and will measure 778 square feet. And the deck will be accessed from the main living area to provide an indoor-outdoor type living arrangement. The applicant has also previously amended the plans to incorporate the city's recommended swing type parking arrangement for ease of access into and out of the garage at first floor level. Minor additions are also being made at that first floor level to the garage with a 78 square foot addition, and also to the rear of the second floor with a 98 square foot addition. In its evaluation of the project, staff recognizes that these alterations comply with the necessary zoning code requirements, and staff are in support of the project, with the incorporated conditions which include securing the proposed landscaping, building materials, and the introduction of the swing type parking. It's staff's recommendation for approval of the project as conditioned, and staff are available for questions should you have them.
Thank you very much. I see a light on. Does somebody have a question? No? Okay. Thank you for that staff report. I don't see any questions from commissioners. I'm going to open up the public hearing. If anybody wishes to speak on the matter, they can fill out a card that's in the back and approach I do not see anybody wanting to speak. I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for deliberations.
Shouldn't we have the applicant?
Oh my God, I forgot about the applicant. Let's just forget I said that. Let's see, applicant, why don't you, you've got 10 minutes to speak to the commission. You don't have to use all 10 minutes, but if you'd like, you can approach the dais and address the commission about the project.
Well, I was just going to come up and introduce myself. My name's Scott Cermelli. I grew up in this town, and it's fun to work here, and it's been fun to work on this project for the Popes. I think the project speaks for itself, and I'm just going to kind of bow out, let the Pope speak, and if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those.
And my name's Chad Pope, and this is my wife Chelsea, and our daughter Sloan over there making all the noise. But Chelsea has been born and raised here in Pacifica, and I'm a native of Nebraska and moved out here about 5 years ago, and we've been married about a year and purchased this property about 2 years ago now, and we've had our first little daughter, and hopefully we'll be expanding our family soon. And the way the house is now, it's limited on living space, where we're using a bedroom as a living room, and there's not an eating space for a family. We just have the kitchen. So we've just been wanting to add some more living space, some storage, and a dining room or an eating area onto the existing structure.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicants? No? Okay. Thanks a lot. Now we can open up the public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak on this matter? They can Now's the time to do it. I don't see anybody who wants to speak, so I am going to close the public hearing and bring the matter back for deliberations to the commission. Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Chair. This kind of, I guess, goes back to staff. And could you explain a little bit how, I understand the non-conforming side and rear yard distances, and how will that come into compliance after the remodel of this unit? Can you explain a little bit on that?
Yeah, the non-conformities are existing and they're part of the existing fabric of the house. So it would be difficult for the applicants to make those alterations to that existing structure to come away from the setback. So the architect has set the new proposal within, outside the required setbacks, which is as much as we can ask. And they've also incorporated that swing type parking as a way to improve the situation on site as far as possible where it's relevant.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted basically for clarification on that. Thank you.
Commissioner Behringer.
Oh, good evening. First of all, I really like this project. I was out there this afternoon, and I think it's going to make a significant positive impact on the community around there. There's a lot of construction going on Stanley. I think it's probably exciting for people that live there. I have a couple questions, though, walk me through how the garage works. Is it staying primarily in the same location where it is now?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the increase in the size of the garage is currently 20 feet by 9, and 20 feet and 9 inches by 19 and 2 inches, and it will increase in size to 20 and 10 inches by 21 and 6 inches.
Okay, so when I look at the existing north elevation compared to the proposed north elevation, it appears as though it may not be correct, but it appears as though the driveway is moved to the west, I guess. Is that correct, or is it just hard to tell because there's been substantial changes to the elevation in the building, so it was kind of hard to see where they lined up. Is the driveway in pretty much the same location, or is it moved?
Yeah, it's pretty much in the same location. It moves slightly to the east and slightly forward on the property to the north.
Okay, so that they can actually make the turn and get into the garage. And then the other question is on the north elevation. It looks as though there's a reduction in the slope on the side. Is that just, I want to use the word optical illusion based on the drawings that I have? But it looks like they've lowered that slope down there. Is that correct or not?
Yeah, I think that's to accommodate the new staircase.
Okay, all right. Do we know how much excavation there, is it substantial or is it de minimis?
That may be a question for the architect if they have the figures available.
Is the architect here?
Let me just grab
I'm looking at the north elevation to kind of bring you up to speed, and when you compare the existing and the proposed, it looks like it's lower.
5 or 6. Existing north, okay.
Uh-huh.
We really don't plan to grade much. We need to expand the driveway to the east to accommodate the swing drive, but we don't really plan on doing much excavation.
Okay.
And if this appears to have a different slope, it's just really a slip of the CAD.
I'm willing to accept
My
that.
apologies. Paper does not refuse ink.
And I noticed that in the conditions that we're going to have a traffic plan, we're going to talk about, because traffic is going to be an issue because that street's very narrow. The one thing I didn't see is how are you proposing to stage construction materials? Are you going to stage them on site, or are you proposing to stage them on the street?
I would imagine we're staging them on site. You'd have to bring them up the driveway and put them on the flat part of the driveway. It just wouldn't be feasible to stage them on the street.
Okay. I was just going to say, if you were contemplating staging them on the street, you'd want to talk to our friends at staff to work out a plan so that you don't.
I'm not building a
Potentially
project,
interfere
but
with people
the
driving
street's
up and
pretty
down the
narrow,
street.
so.
It's real narrow, yeah.
Yeah.
And people park on it too, which makes it even narrower, so. That was really my only concern. Great project. It's going to be awesome when it's done.
Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Neblin.
Thank you. So yeah, I similarly think the project looks really great. I think the aesthetics of it are really pretty cool. I did have a quick question, though, and it pertained in particular to landscaping. I saw that the comparison of the sort of proposed project versus existing condition contemplates a fairly significant reduction in sort of landscaping, or the percent of the lot that's landscaped, and actually a fairly significant increase in lot coverage. And in particular, with respect to the landscaping, I mean, it's staff's view that the detailed landscaping plan will effectively soften the structural mass of the project. Is that something that's contemplated to be more or less an immediate effect, or something that's going to take a while to actually come to pass, given, time for trees to grow, or whatever's involved in the landscaping plan?
Yeah, it's likely going to evolve over time, but I think the advantage of making the rearrangements to the landscape is that there'll be a lot of native species introduced, and also the drip irrigation will be beneficial to water consumption.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Clifford.
Well, if everybody has made comments, except me, I think, and I'm actually quite happy with the project, and all the questions I did have already been asked. So if nobody has a problem, I would make a motion for approval. I move that the Planning Commission find that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, approve Coastal Development Permit CDP 366-16 by adopting the attached resolution, including conditions of approval in Exhibit A, and incorporate all maps and testimony into the record by reference.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Chair, and I'll second that motion.
Okay, please vote. And that project passes 5-0. Congratulations. Anyone aggrieved by the action of the Planning Commission has 10 calendar days to appeal the decision in writing to the City Council. Moving on to Commission communications. Do I see any? Yes, Commissioner Clifford.
I just wanted to report that I did go to the Library Advisory Committee meeting on July 27th, and a good time was had by all. I have already informed Commissioner Evans of the what transpired at the actual meeting, so that he can now take over and handle that meeting going forward. So that's that.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Clifford. Commissioner Evans.
I just want, as I've said before, I just want to say thank you for covering my first meeting. I promise I'll do better.
Great. I do not see any more lights for Commission communications, so I'm going to move on to staff communications.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okie dokie. Having moved on from that, we are facing the end of the meeting. Commissioner Clifford.
I move to adjourn.
Commissioner Vice Chair Neblin.
I second.
Please vote. And that passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night. So when are you going to get a few minutes, or when you get time for a cup of coffee or something? I'll talk to you about the special ed stuff. It's a really